Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Namaste and a very warm welcome to yet another session in our Weekend with Wisdom series. My name is Sri Hari and I'm a curator at Indika Moksha. We would like to begin this session with an invocation. Sahana vavatu sahanau bhunattu sah viryam karavavahai tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om. In today's session, we are going to dive into a very interesting quintessential topic in Sanatana Dharma, which is Vivaham, importance and the procedural aspects of it. And to take us through this very interesting, essential topic, we have with us Bhuvaneshwari Lakshmi Narayanan ji. I would like to take this opportunity to introduce Bhuvaneshwari ji to the audience. Namaskaram, Bhuvaneshwari ji. Thank you so much for accepting our invite for this series.
Namaskaram ji.
Bhuvaneshwari ji is a speaker and performer who delivers discourses on Vedic texts, Puranas, Itihasas, and Upanishads in Tamil, Hindi, Sanskritam, and English. She has regularly appeared on Makkal TV as part of their religious and cultural programs. Bhuvaneshwari ji has performed at various venues, including Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan and Ratnagirishwarar Temple in Besant Nagar, as well as at the Vadaparani Murugan Koil and the Chembur Fine Arts in Mumbai. Her topics have included Durga Saptashati, Sri Rudram, Chamakam, Sandhya Vandanam, and Bhagavad Gita, Shiva Ratri, Krishna Janmashtami, and Avani Avittam. She has also offered Hindi-Tamil translation services for a Bhashanam delivered by His Holiness Puri Puradishwara Srimad Jagat Guru Shankaracharya Swami Nishalananda Saraswati. In addition to her speaking engagements, Bhuvaneshwari ji is a Bharatanatyam dancer and a disciple of Kalaimamani Srimati Roja Kannan ji. She is currently pursuing a CA articleship and a MA in Sanskritam at Tanjavur Shastra University. So we have two sessions. The first session right now, 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. And the second session will happen today at 5 p.m. We will be going into the procedure and the significance of Vivaham. So with that introduction, I would invite Bhuvaneshwari ji to take over the session and take us through the landscape of this very, very essential part of one's life in Sanatana Dharma. So over to you, Bhuvaneshwari ji. Thank you.
Thank you, Hariji, for the apt and crisp introduction. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha, Namasabhabhyaha, Sabhapatibhyascha. Namaskarams and salutations to everyone present here. The Upanyasam on Vivaham will comprise of 2 lectures. The current ongoing one will deal with the procedural aspects and the importance of Vivaham. And the evening session will deal with the lives of the Divya Dampatis, the Adarsha Dampatis, the virtues that they built into their marital life, and the footsteps that they have left for us to tread upon. We will begin with the Mangala Shloka. Vagartha viva sampraktau, Vagartha pratipattaye, Jagatah pitaro vande, Parvati Parameshwaro. My salutations to the Jagan Mata Pita, Parvati and Parameshwara, who are in eternal union and can never be separated, like the meaning gets never separated from its word. Before we get started with the significance and the procedural aspects of Vivaham, let us have a quick go-through of the list of Divya Dampatis. Let's salute them first and then start Vivaham. Starting from the immemorial Dampatis to the medieval ones and to the living legends, we have Yatha Suryam Suvarchala, Arundhati Vasishtham Cha, Rohini Shashinam Yatha, Lopa Mudra Yatha Gastyam, Sukanya Chyavanam Yatha, Savitri Satyavantam Cha, Kapilam Srimati Yatha, Saudasam Madayantiva, Keshini Sagaram Yatha, Naishadham Damayantiva, Bhaimi Pate Manuvrata, Tathaham Ikshvaku Varam, Ramam Pate Manuvrata. These are the list of Dampatis that Sita lists in the Sundarakanda. She says to Ravana that I have to be like how Suvarchala was to Suryadeva, like how Arundhati Devi was to sage Vasishtha, like how Rohini is to sage is to Chandrat Bhagavan, like how Lopamudra Devi is to sage Agastya, like how Srimati is to Kapila, like how Sukanya is to Chavana, like how Savitri is to Satyavan, like how Madayanti is to Saudasa, and like how Damayanti is to Nala. I also wish to be, and I am the Pativrata and the Anuvrata of the descendant of the Ikshvaku clan, Rama. And saying so, she outrightly rejects Ravana. So, starting from these Dampatis, next we have the king Ranti Deva and his wife. We will the story of their marital life and how they have dedicated their life for the betterment of the welfare of their kingdom will be dealt in the evening session. And then we have the illustrious Dampati, poet saint Jayadeva and his wife Padmavati. Then we have Tiruvalluvar and Vasuki, and the immortal Dampati Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa and Sri Sharada Devi. In the very recent times, recent history, we have Sri Shadashivam and Bharat Ratna MS Subbalakshmi Amma, and the living couple Srimati Dimple Chima and Sri Vikram Batra. So this is an important couple, and we have to pay our special regards and honors to Srimati Dimple Chima and Sri Vikram Batra. Sri Vikram Batra is not physically with us, but is also with us. They are nothing short of Rati and Manmatha. In an episode in Kumara Sambhavam of Kalidasa states, Bhasmavashesham Madanam Chakara. Shiva burns down Manmatha to a pile of ash, and then Rati is inconsolable at the loss of her husband. And later on, she is granted the special vision to view her husband. Now Manmatha, who's now an Anangaha, matlab meaning a bodiless man, a man with no body, yet he's visible only to his wife. As Shankara says, Jagadidam Anango Vijayate. Who is the victor everywhere? Who emerges victorious everywhere he goes? It is this Manmatha, it is this Anangaha, it is this Kandarpa, it is this Cupid who wins everywhere. And likewise, Sri Vikram Batra, the martyr of the Kargil war, even though he may not be present physically with us right now, he is visible to his beloved Srimati Dimple Chima. Their attachment to each other is so great and par excellence that it does not require any formal solemnization of marriage, and hence they have secured a place in our list of Dampatis today, and our special salutations to them. We will now start with Vivaham. What is Vivaham? Grammatically speaking, the word Vivaham is derived with V upasarga plus Vah dhatu plus Ganj pratyaya, meaning Visheshena Vahanam ityarthe Vivaha Shabdaha Nishpannaha. The meaning of the Vivaham is in its Vigraha Vakyam Visheshena Vahanam. What is this Visheshena Vahanam? Vahanam means to carry, the carriage. Visheshena matlab, especially, something special. So something special is being carried. That is Vivaham. What is this special thing that Vivaham carries? Dharma is the special thing that Vivaham carries. It is for the perpetual existence of Dharma that Vivaham is an absolute must in the society. We will understand how when we talk about the significance of Vivaham. Now, broadly speaking, there are 8 types of Vivaham: Brahma, Prajapatya, Deva, Arsha, Gandharva, Asura, Rakshasa, and Paishacha. We will have a look at one or more of these types of Vivahams. The first one being Brahma Vivaham. So this is a marriage which is conducted before the boy or the girl turn barely 10. So this is an age-old practice, and it is particular only to certain Vedic families, not all Vedic families also. Next, we have the much spoken about, the much popularized Gandharva Vivaham. And thanks to Shakuntala and Dushyanta for propitiating that. Gandharva Vivaham, on one hand, it is an advantageous tool for the young lovers, and at the same time, it heavily weighs down on the parents and elders of the family of both the Vara and Vadhu. Shakuntala and Dushyanta, not only have they married through Gandharva Vivaham, They've given an opportunity for Mahakavi Kalidasa to pen his magnum opus called Abhignana Shakuntalam, which has stood the test of time, which is a favorite, hot favorite of all scholars and poets. And not only to him did they give an opportunity, they have also given an opportunity to today's filmmakers to make films on their love saga, Shakuntala and Dushyanta. Next, we have Rakshasa Vivaham. So, Rakshasa Vivaham is a type of Vivaham wherein the bridegroom abducts the bride without the knowledge of her parents, but with the full consent of the bride herself. A very cute example for this type of Vivaham is Rukmini Krishna Vivaha Vaibhavam. Rukmini is the strong lady who beats all stereotypes of today's Gen Z marriage market love trend. So it is always expected that the man comes and woo the woman. He should make the first step. Let him make the first move. You sit back and just ask him just wait for him to ask you out. So, but Rukmini doesn't bother about all these things. She outrightly gives her heart out in a love letter, perhaps the first historical love letter given by a girl to a man. And this love is such love that has blossomed in her heart, even without seeing that lover, even without speaking with him, even without gelling with him. Today we have got a lot of issues in marrying. We say that we need time to gel together, we need to date, and we need this courtship period. But for Rukmini, nothing was necessary. Krishna Leela, just the Shravanam of Krishna Leela was enough for her to surrender herself unto Krishna. And she writes in her love letter, "Oh Tribhuvana Sundara, the most handsome of all." Well, here she has never seen Krishna, but for her, he is the most handsome guy. She says in her letter that she is to be abducted by Krishna, the abductor, and she even mentions the place of abduction. She gives the time of abduction and the methodology of abduction also. And so then Krishna arrives from Dwarka with his Panchajanya, takes Rukmini, and they live happily ever after in their Dwarka. So wherever there is a talk about Vivaham and Prem, love, etc., Rukmini and Krishna can never be missed upon. The next type of Vivaham is Paishacha Vivaham and is considered the worst type of Vivaham of all the 8 Vivahams. Here, the bridegroom abducts the bride without the consent of the parents of the bride and also without the consent of the bride also. So this is the worst kind of Vivaham. Another type is Asura Vivaham. Asura Vivaham is a Vivaham wherein the father of the bride takes gifts and emoluments from the bridegroom for conducting the marriage of his daughter. Today's times, none of these Vivahams are applicable, as we come to know that the marriageable age of the girl is 18 and the boy is 21. And every Vivaham takes place with the unconditional and full support of both the Var and Vadhu. The key thing to note in the Vaivahik procedures is that, number 1, the Var and Vadhu should not be belonging to the same Gotra. They should not be co-Gotra people. So what do we mean by when we say we belong to this particular Gotra? Suppose I say I belong to this Kaundinya Gotra. That means I am the descendant of the Maharishi Kaundinya. So someone says I belong to Vishwamitra Gotra. That means he is the descendant of Maharishi Vishwamitra. So people, the descendants of the same Rishi, are brothers and sisters, and they are not suitable bride and bridegrooms. So only inter-Gotra marriages are to be conducted, and it is advisable that marriage between close relatives are not to be conducted. Next, we have in Tamil the Dasha Poruttams. It is a compatibility check. So there are 10 matches according to which score is generated and the compatibility of the Var and Vadhu is checked. So the Dasha Poruttams are, in Tamil, let me read it out. We have the Dina Puruttam, Gana Puruttam, Mahendra Puruttam, Stri Dirgha Puruttam, Yoni Puruttam, Rashi Puruttam, Rashi Adhipati Puruttam, Vashiya Puruttam, Rajju Puruttam, and Nadi Puruttam. Dina Puruttam is checked for the long and fruitful, problem-free married life. Ganapuruttam is checked for the compatibility of the personalities of the Var and Vadhu. Then we have Mahendra Puruttam, which is considered for progeny. We have the Stri Dirgha Purutam, which is checked upon to analyze the financial status and prosperity of this married couple. We have the Yoni Purutam, which represents the sexual compatibility of this couple. We have the Rashi Purutam, wherein the compatibility of the zodiac signs, Rashis of the Var and Vadhu are checked. Rashi Adhipati Purutam, the compatibility of the governing lords of their zodiac signs are checked. Vashiya Purutam, it is considered to check the mutual attraction between the Var and Vadhu. Rajju Purutam represents the Mangalya Bhagyam of the girl, and Nadi Purutam is required for the longevity and happy married life. Having said so, it is definitely considered for matchmaking, but over and above all these Purutams, the most important Purutam is the Manapurutam, that is the unification of hearts. So when you have decided that this is the person I'm going to marry and I will be steadfast in my decision, and that is more important than any of these Dasha Purutams. So we get to see an example of this in Savitri and Satyavan's story. Savitri sees a man in the forest and decides that this is the person that I'm going to get married to. Narada comes and warns Savitri, Savitri, be aware, this man that you have chosen as your husband, he will face death in just a year. Are you still going to go ahead with your decision? And she stays firm in her decision. She decided that yes, this is the person I want to get married to. I'm worried about none other thing. And she goes ahead with the decision. So after the Dashapurutams, let's see, when is this marriage typically performed, or when is the topic called marriage taken up? So typically marriages are performed when the planet Guru looks at the person in his horoscope. Whenever the parents take the horoscopes of their daughter or son to the astrologer says that, okay, we can wait for some time. Guru Parve Varanuma. Guru Parve means the drishti, the Guru Phalan, the blessing of the planet Guru, basically planet Jupiter. But what in case the Guru Parve is a far-fetched blessing? It's not anywhere close right now. What do we do then? There are methodologies to attract the blessings of our planet Guru. Number 1, worship of the planet Guru, doing Navagraha Shanti Homams. Number 3, worship of Sri Dakshinamurti. Dakshinamurti is a form of Lord Shiva, wherein this resplendent, youthful teacher sits under the banyan tree, and near his feet sit these grey-haired men, old disciples. Chitram Vatataror Mule, Vridha Shishya Gurur Yuva, Gurostu Maunam Vyakhyanam Shishyastu Chinna Samshayaha. Here, what is to be noted is Vridha Shishya Gurur Yuva. The Shishyas are age-old people, and the Guru is a young man. And this young man, he teaches his age-old disciples mere silence, and his mere silence dispels all the ignorance and the doubts of his disciples. So this God for Viveka, Jnana and Vairagya is also propitiated to receive the Vivaha Bhagya blessings. Number 3, in the simpler sense, salutations and worshipping our own Guru will make us be recipients of the blessings of the planet Guru. And number 4, in the deeper sense, fulfilling the commandments of our Guru will also attract the blessings of the planet Guru. So one should never be disheartened by the maybe disappointing, seemingly disappointing planetary positions in our horoscope. It can be compensated even if there is not a great favorable planetary position. It can be compensated with our perseverance and steadfast devotion. A great example for this is that a young boy is turned away by his guru because he lacks the Vidya Rekha in his Anjali. In his palm, there is no Vidya Rekha. And then Guru says, no, even if I teach you, you're not going to learn anything. Nothing will get inside your brain. And then this boy, he doesn't give up. He takes a knife and carves out the Vidya Rekha for himself. And this boy turns to be none other than the all-time Samskrita grammarian Maharishi Panini, who is the author of Ashtadhyayi. So this looking at the perseverance and the steadfast devotion into Vidyarjanam, the Guru imparts him accepts him as his disciple and gives him all the knowledge that he has got. So let us understand that even the planetary positions are only secondary. Our devotion and trust on Ishvara is the primary aspect that is required for Vivaham. Now let us get into the central point of this discussion. Why Vivaham? Why should we marry? What is the necessity for this institution called marriage? Vivaham is the medium through which the four purusharthas of life can be fulfilled. What are the four purusharthas of life? It's pretty simple. Everybody knows this. Dharma, Artha, Kama, and Moksha are the four ordained purusharthas of life. Whenever a person is born into this world, he is born with a responsibility. He is born as a debtor. He owes three people three debts. He is born with Devarina, Pitrarina, and Rishirina. What is Devarina, Pitrarina, and Rishirina? The Devas are the cosmic forces which administer and govern this universe under the direction of the Supreme Lord. All these forces of nature give us bountiful blessings. Surya Bhagavan gives us sunshine. Vayu Bhagavan is the life force. And the Varuna Bhagavan, yes, of course, we need water. So all these people, all the Devas are constantly showering their blessings on us. And in return, we have to show our gratitude to them. And if we don't show our gratitude, if we don't give anything in return, if it is a mere one-way traffic, then who are we? We are merely a thief who takes but never gives anything. And so says Krishna Paramatma, Yo bhungte stena eva saha. This man who takes from nature but never gives anything in return is verily a thief. And that is why he says, Devan bhavayatanena te deva bhavayantuvaha parasparam bhavayantaha shreyah paramavapsyatha. The Devas give their blessings, and in return, we have to give ahuti to those Devas. So they will take the ahuti that we give through the medium of yajna. They will become powerful, and again they will shower their blessings on us. So it is a two-way traffic and not just a one-way traffic that we keep receiving and not give anything. So it is our responsibility to give offerings to these Devas. How are we to do that? By conducting yajnas. And who can conduct these yajnas? Brahmacharinaha karmani adhikaraha nasti. The brahmachari has no rights to perform all these Vedic rituals. Then who can perform it? It is only the grahastha who has got this license and eligibility to perform all these yajna karyas. So just like the Upanayana Brahmopadesa is the license for the Vatu to get initiated to chant the Gayatri mantra, Vivaham is the license for any person, for the bachelor to come out of Brahmachari ashrama, to enter Grastha ashrama and be eligible to conduct all these yajnas. Why? Because now he has to discharge the debt that he owes to the Devas. So this is one type of dharma. The second dharma is discharging the debt that we owe to our ancestors. That is discharging the pitrarina. We are born, we are protected, we are nurtured, we are cared for by our parents and forefathers, etc. So it creates and obligates us to give something in return to them, and that is in the form of Shraddha and Tarpana. Now, to perform the Shraddha and Tarpana, we have to get married, we have to beget a progeny, procreation should be there so that the lineage continues and never stops. Arjuna cites the reason of Pitrapatitvam as a major reason to withdraw from the Kurukshetra battle. He says, Patanti pitaro hyesham luptapindodaka kriyaha. Arjuna says to Krishna, if all the men are killed in this war of Kurukshetra, who's that person who will remain to offer the pinda to the Pitrus? And if the Pinda Pradhanam is not done, the Pitrus might fall from the Pitraloka. And such is the concern that Arjuna had. And from this, we can understand the imperiality of the importance of Pitra Shraddha, Pitra Rina that is on our shoulders to discharge. And how do we do it? As we already had a look at through Shraddha and Tarpana, and this can be performed only by the progeny, and so we should get married, and so we should beget children. Next is the third rina that we owe to the rishis, the rishi rina. All the rishis have undergone stringent, strict, severe austerities to understand the Vedas, to get the knowledge from this universe, and very compassionately they have passed it on, whatever they have received, to their shishyas through the Guru Shishya Parampara. How difficult it would be if we had to do everything all by ourselves. Suppose if we had to make the road, we had to travel all by ourselves, travel alone without knowing the path. It is going to be a very, very difficult uphill task. But if someone has already done the job for us, like our gurus who have already found out what is there, what is the destination, what is the marga, he has already given a map to us. Now it's going to be very easy. So we have to show gratitude to those magnanimous rishis. And how do we show that gratitude? Our gratitude to them would be studying the Vedas, taking trouble in studying all that they have provided to us, having an interest in religious education, pursuit of religious education, and be culturally informed, and respect our forefathers and their parampara and their traditions. And this frees us from this intellectual debt called Rishi Rina. This Rishi Rina can be discharged even in the Brahmacharya ashrama. But what do we do about the Deva Rina and Pitra Rina? We need to get married for us to hold on to this dharma. So by means of all these, by means of Vivaham, we are able to discharge our responsibility. And so we are able to attain the dharma purushartha of the four purusharthas. Now, speaking about yajna, like when we spoke about the Devarana, we need to perform yajnas who by the ahuti of which the devas will be happy and they will constantly keep showering their blessings. Yajnas have been held in high esteem in our Vedic civilization. Let us have a look at Mahabharatam and Ramayanam. In Ramayanam, we have the Putra Kameshti Yajna performed by Dashratha for begetting a progeny, and he was blessed with Rama, Bharata, Lakshmana, and Shatrughna. Rama and Lakshmana guarded the Yajna of Vishwamitra, which was necessary to regain back his lost powers, and in return, he gave the Upadesham of the Bala Atibala mantram to Rama, which came in handy during the battle between Ravana and Rama in the Yuddha Kanda of Ramayana. And then next we have the Yajna performed by Indrajit in Nikumbhila. Had it been completed, Indrajit would have become completely invincible. But it had to be stopped because he was doing for a negative purpose. Now coming to Mahabharata, it was out of this sacrificial fire that rose the key characters, Draupadi and Drishtadyumna. We have the Rajasuya Yajna conducted by Yudhishthira, having crowned himself the Chakravarti of Indraprastha. And then in the finale, after the Kurukshetra war, we have him performing the Ashwamedha Yajna. So a yajna is very important and has a very integral place in the Vedic civilization. What is important for yajna is the Agni. The Vedas say, Agni Mukhavai Sarva Devataha. All the devatas are to be approached only by Agni. So basically, Agni is working as a postman here. If we have to offer Ahuti to Indradeva, we should first give it to Agni, who will take it to Indradeva. If we have to offer Ahuti to Varuna, again we have to give it to Agni, who will take it to Indradeva. So Agni cannot be dismissed at all, and he has this irreplaceable place in the rituals of a householder. How is this connected to Vivaham? Let's have a look at that. The father who has been preserving and nurturing this Agni, what does he typically do? From his Agni, he gives a share of his Agni to his son, and the son conducts his Vivaham from the Agni that he received from his father. Post Vivaham, he does the Agni Karya called as Upasanam. This Upasanam is not a big, long, lengthy procedure. It's just a ritual, 5 minutes in the morning, 5 minutes in the evening, 30 minutes homam once in 15 days, known as Sthali Pakam. What is done in Sthali Pakam? In Sthali Pakam, We cook the rice in the very Agni, and the cooked rice is given as the Ahuti in that Agni of Sthalipakam. So this is just a small introduction into Sthalipakam. Sthalipakam is Aupasanam is a miniature of Agnihotram, and Sthalipakam is a miniature ritual of an Ishti. Now, the son who has received Agni from his father, who is now preserving that Agni without letting it doze off, what he will do with his Agni, he will keep it alive as long as he is alive. And the father who gave this Agni to his son, he will offer his body itself as Ahuti to this Agni when his time ends. And who will do the cremation? The son will do the cremation with the very same Agni that he received for his father. And this Agni will keep continuing as the Kula Agni for generations to generations, and it will never let to die off. But in case, even if it dies, it has to be rekindled by performing the Chinna Agni Sandhanam. It's a simple procedure, but there are procedures. So we shouldn't be saying that, oh, I'm not able to do it because there are several innumerable complexities involved. We use our cleverness and smartness in many avenues. We have to be very witty here also and not give lame excuses to escape the regulations and the responsibilities ordained for a householder. Now, Agni Mukhavai Sarva Devataha, we have got to know about that. So, if we have to propitiate the Devas, that is, if we have to discharge the debt to the Devas, we need to preserve the Agni. And so, Aupasanam is an important and indispensable post-marriage ritual. It should not end with the Vivaham itself. In Vivaham, we do the Aupasanam, but it should not end in the Muhurta day itself. It has to continue forever. And saying so, we have looked at the dharmic aspects, how Vivaham helps in the fulfillment of the Dharma Purushartha. Now, after the Dharma Purushartha comes the Artha Purushartha. The householder has this responsibility to earn money. He has to have a solid regular income so that he supports not only himself but also the members of the other ashrama, because in the brahmacharya ashrama, in the vanaprastha ashrama, in the sannyasa ashrama, none of the members of these ashramas are earning members. Then who will support them? It is this grahasthan who has to support the other members of the society too. So he has to earn for himself also and for the sake of others also. Now today we are facing this problem of income. How do we create additional margas, additional ways of income, and so many things, so on and so forth, related to income and investment and interest. A lot of discussion is going about in this topic, but here in Vedas it is very well evident that mere observance of the responsibilities ordained in the Agrasthashrama will give us enough wealth and richness. And how is that? Arogyam bhaskarati ichet, shriyam ichet hutashana. If a person wants health, he has to worship Lord Surya. And if a person wants wealth, he has to worship Agni. That's exactly what we are doing as the householder. Worship of Agni, preservation of the Agni, and through Agni we are worshipping the Devas. So the Artha and Dharma are a cyclic process. If we follow the Dharma, we are definite to get Artha. And there is this beautiful Niti Shloka which says, Vidya dadati vinayam, vinayat yati patratam, patratvat dhanamapnoti, dhanat dharmam tatas sukham. So pretty simple shloka, everybody is aware of this. Vidya dadati vinayam. Knowledge gives us humility. The more we know, the more we understand that there is a lot more to know. So that gives us humility. Humility gives us worthiness. Vinayat yati patratam. Patratvat dhanamapnoti. This worthiness gives us wealth. Dhanat dharmam. And through this wealth, we are able to do dharma. Yes, the householder needs a lot of riches, wealth, gold, cows. In those days, cows, goats, and sheep, they used to be the yardstick to measure the richness of a person. So all these are extremely necessary for the conduction of the Vedic life. So the yajnas are extremely costly. We need money. We need the Vaidika Samagri for us to perform the yajnas. And this is exactly that we pray to Ishvara also for. So in the Chamaka Prashna that follows the Rudra Prashna, we ask God. We have Chame, 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 Chame appearing everywhere. So that means that, oh Lord, give me this, give me pashus, give me abundance of food. There should be no shortage of any Vaidika Samagri. Give me a beautiful house to reside in. So all these are material aspects that we ask Ishvara for, but for the performance of dharma. And so Vivaham also helps us establish Artha Purushartha also. Now coming to the third Purushartha, the Kama Purushartha. Lord Krishna says in second chapter that Apuryamanam achala pratishtham samudrama apaha pravishanti yadvat tadvat kamayam pravishanti sarve sashantima apnoti nakamakami. Just like the ocean, how this magnificent ocean is undisturbed by the incessant flow of water from the various rivers that adjoin it. The person who is undisturbed by the flow of material objects, desirable objects that keep revolving around him, he is the man who attains peace and not the man who is on a spree fulfilling his desires that arise every other second in his mind. So he gives a pill in chapter 2. He says a man who runs behind desires can never be happy, can never attain peace of mind. But then at the same time, in chapter 7, he gives a relaxation tone. He says, Dharma viruddho bhuteshu kamosmi bharatarshabha. O great warrior of the Bharat race, listen, any desire that is of dharmic nature, I am the form of that very desire. And so says Krishna Bhagavan. So Vivaham allows the fulfillment of our desires which are in tandem with dharma, which are allied and in parallel with dharma. This is necessary as Vivaham, keeping the final goal as moksha in mind. It allows us to experience and overcome all these enjoyments and pleasures which are necessary to overcome the vasanas or the impressions of our previous births. And so Vivaham also enables in the fulfillment of our Kamya Ichhas also, which are in tandem with the Dharma. To put it in a beautiful, short, crisp way, Mahakavi Kalidasa says in Raghuvamsham, the Kriyakramam of the Raghuvanshis, Shaishave Abhyasta Vidyanam, Yauvane Vishayeshinam, Vardhake Munivrittinam, Yogenante Tanutyajam. The Raghuvanshis, in their childhood and boyhood days, they focus in mastering the Vedas, the Vedangas, the Shastras, etc., etc. Full concentration on, they come into the book mode, the study mode. Yauvane Vishayeshinam, in their youthhood, their minds are predisposed for material pleasures. Vardhake Munivrittinam, and in their old age, they gravitate towards saint-like activities. Yogenante Tanutyajam. And where their time has come, they yoke their minds with the Almighty, evict their souls out of their body, dispose of this body, and finally attain moksha. So this is the style of Raghuvanshis. And saying so, we have now completed the Kama Purushartha also. And how does Vivaham lead to Moksha Purushartha? Only through Vivaham, a man's character is polished and his personality and character, it grows in leaps and bounds. His chitta is purified. He gains vairagya, viveka, paripakvata, and maturity, all the virtues that are completely necessary in a mumukshu. A mumukshu is a person who wants moksha. So we should understand that Vivaha is not a vigna in the path of moksha, but it acts as a catalyst in expediting the spiritual growth of a person. And not only it benefits a person as an individual, but also as a society, it is very beneficial. Now let us see the material aspects of what Vivaha provides for the Var and Vadhu and also for their family. So it provides the security, the protection, it takes care of the physical needs, emotional and psychological, physiological needs of both the Var and Vadhu. It also gives protection to the age-old people to the children, and to the dependents on the Var and Vadhu. It protects everybody. It encompasses an extended family. And if every family functions this way, then the society is going to be very fruitful. Nobody is going to suffer in the society. There is no sufferer in the society. So as a member of the society also, we are very blessed and fortunate to have good families in the society who will perform all these punya karyas and be benefited, and we be benefited from those punya karyas. So in a beautiful nutshell, there is a shloka that says, यथा वायुं समाश्रित्य वर्तन्ते सर्वजन्तवः तथा गृहस्थाश्रमाश्रित्य वर्तन्ते सर्वे आश्रमाः. Like how all the living beings depend on the Vayu Bhagavan for its existence, the same way all the ashramas depend upon this grihastha for its existence. So saying so, we have now understood the vitality of Vivaham. Now going to the procedures of Vivaham. Every Veda, every Shakha has got its own instructions, rituals, and sampradayas pertaining to it. Now we will have a look at the procedures ordained by Apastambha Maharishi in his Apastambha Sutra. So this is applicable to Krishna Yajurveda and Taittiriya Shakha. The 5 major rituals of Vivaham are Vagdanam cha Pradhanam cha Varanam Panipedanam Saptapaditi Panchango Vivaha Parikirtitaha. So the 5 major, there are a lot of rituals, but the 5 major rituals are Vagdanam, the oral promise of the parents to get their wards married to each other. Pradhanam, the Kanyadanam, wherein the father offers his daughter as the bride to the bridegroom by stating the 3 pravaras, the 3 ancestors of the bride, and also blessing her with good progeny. Varanam is the honoring of the bridegroom by the bride's family. Pani Pedanam, the Pani Grahanam, the crucial act of marriage, and Saptapadi, the conclusive evidence, the conclusive ritual of marriage. Panchango Vivaha Parikirtitaha. So these are the 5 major rituals in a marriage. These are the 5 major rituals, and we have 2 most crucial rituals known as Panigrahanam and Saptapadi. So let's get started with what happens on the first day prior to the day of marriage. On the first day, we have got the Vratam or Vratam and Samavartanam. What does this Vratam and Samavartanam signify? This is basically performed by the bridegroom, but an act which typically should have been performed by him in his boyhood days during his study of Veda Dhyana in his Gurukula. Whenever the Vedas are divided into 4 kandas, Prajapatya, Saumya, Agneya, and Vaishwadeva. So when you study the Prajapatya Kanda, Prajapatya Vrata Homa has to be conducted. Saumya Kanda, then Saumya Vrata Homa has to be conducted. Agneya Kanda, then Agneya Vrata Homa has to be conducted. Vaishwadeya, then even Vaishwadeya Vrata Homa has to be conducted. But this has to be done in his boyhood days when he is a student. But for the benefit of not missing it out, we are doing it a day prior to the marriage. It can be done anytime. And unfortunately, in most cases, the Upanayana Samskara itself is done only a day prior to the marriage, because it is the rule that one has to proceed from Brahmacharya Ashrama to Grihastha. So you have to become a Brahmachari by, you have to be initiated into the Upanayana Samskara. You have to do Veda Dhyana. So this Vrata is basically Veda Dhyana done in 3 hours. No, a full 15-year study is now compiled into it's now pressed into a 3-hour or 4-hour program. Now, after the Veda Dhyana, what happens? After we complete our studies in college, we have this convocation day. And parallel to this convocation, we have the Samavartanam that takes place after the Vrata Kanda Vrata Homa. After the Samavartanam, the morning rituals are done, and we move on to the evening. Evening, the Nishchedartha takes place. And Nishchedartha is the place where the parents of the bride and the bridegroom exchange, they give promises that, yes, I decide to marry my daughter to your son. and the same vice versa. This is a Shastroktamana ritual. It's a ritual prescribed in the Shastras. Now, there is, following this, there is a fun ritual. It's a culturally imbibed ritual known as the Januvasam. Now, what is this Januvasam? It is parading the bridegroom in the streets so that everyone has a look at this guy. And so, oh, so this is going to be the son in law of this family and this person, and he is going to be the husband of so and so girl. This is just an introduction of the bridegroom to the members of the society, and it is followed by the sangeet or the mehendi function like today we have in these today's marriages. And it is basically a fun activity, not prescribed in the shastra, but it is also an indispensable part right now. It is, we say that Januvasam is going on, it is important, and it has become an unremovable part of marriage. So all these activities, starting from the Kandavrata Homa and the Samavartanam, Nishchedartham, and Januvasam, these precede the day of marriage. And so let us, before we start with the procedures of the marriage date, let us understand the two most crucial aspects of marriage, that is Pani Grahanam and Saptapadi. When we say Pani Grahanam, the signature statement of Ramayana is what comes to our mind. Iyam Sita mama suta sahadharma charitava praticha chainam bhadramte panim grinhishva panina. So Janaka says to Rama, Iyam Sita mama suta, this is Sita, my daughter. Sahadharma charitava is the partner in all your righteous activities. Again, something that has that needs our attention here. A partner in all righteous activities. So it is the job of the wife to go and be in tandem, be a companion for her husband only if the husband treads on the righteous path, and pull him back if he goes astray. Praticha chainam badramte, take her and she will give you great fortune. Panim grinhishva panina, take her hand in your hand. Panim grinhishva panina. So we should be very well aware that this Pani Grahana has to be performed for the first time only in our marriage. But unfortunately, everywhere we are seeing Pani Grahanams happening every now and then with handshakes with any person, any random guy or any random girl. So this is a ritual that we have to perform only with our consort and not with anyone else. I think COVID has well taught the importance of namaste, vanakkam, namaskaram, rather than the hi, hello, how are you, in the Western style of greeting. So we should now again, to the best of our abilities, follow the namaskara procedure and not go into this the westernized Pani Grahanam. Following Pani Grahanam is Saptapadi. Saptapadi is that ritual that says that now the Vivaham is complete, you are man and wife, and now this Vivaham becomes irrevocable. Saptapadi means taking 7 steps together. The mere act of walking blossoms into friendship. And no wonder that companies nowadays they are encouraging team games, team lunches, team outings, just to give the spark to that team spirit and make them work as one team, as one unit, rather than everybody going in each other's direction. So here, Saptapadi plays a very important role in establishing the relationship between husband and wife. It says that the Sakha Saptapada Bhava, the mantra of Saptapadi, begins as such. It says, you become my friend. You are first my friend. The bridegroom says, I have taken 7 steps with you, and by this I have become your friend. May this friendship between us last forever. May this bind us together, and may we never cease to be friends. May we attain, may our minds be united, may our radiance be one. May we be united in harmony and in affection, radiant with kind thoughts, enveloped in enjoyment and strength, united in our minds, our vows, and hearts. So let us understand that the BFF term that has generated today was well generated thousands of years back, best friends for life. they have taken this sankalpa to be best friends before even they being husband and wife. So the base for them being a husband and wife is this friendship upon which the edifice of marriage is going to be built. He says, I'm the sky and you are the earth. I'm the seed and you are the bearer. I'm the mind, you are the speech. I'm the melody, you are the words. Let us dwell together in happiness and may our progeny attain supreme glory. So these are the meaning of the mantras in Saptapadi. Even in the Vanaparva of Mahabharata, we have the Yaksha Prashna, wherein Yaksha questions he tests the intelligence and fairness of the oldest brother, Yudhishthira. Two important questions Yaksha asks. And one question is, Yaksha Vacha, Kimswit Pravasato Mitram, Kimswin Mitram Grihe Sataha, Haturasya cha Kim Mitram, Kimswin Mitram Marishyataha. Who is the friend during an exile? Who is the friend of the householder? Who is the friend of a person who is ailing? And who is the friend of a person who is about to die? And Yudhishthira replies, Sarthaha Pravasato Mitram Bharya Mitram Grihe Sataha. A companion during our travel. He is the friend during our exile. And Bharya Mitram Grihe Sataha. Who is my friend? My wife is the friend in my house. Aturasya Bhishang Mitram. For a man who is ailing, who's a person suffering great illness, for him the friend is a doctor. Danam Mitram Marishyataha. The one who's about to die, his Mitram, his friend is charity. Another question that Yaksha asks is, Kimsvidatma Manushyasya, Kimsvid Daivakritaha Sakha, Upajivanam Kimsvidasya Parayanam. Yaksha asks, who's the soul of man? Who is the friend bestowed by God on a man? Who is the man's chief support and who is also his chief refuge? And then the answer goes like, Yudhishthira Uvacha, Putra Atma Manushyasya, Bharya Daivakritaha Sakha. Son is the soul of the man and Bharya is the God-sent friend. Wife is the God-sent friend of a man. Just what the Tamil poet Kannadasa says, Manevi Amaivadellam Irevan Kudutta Varame. Manevi Amaivadellam Irevan Kudutta Varame, meaning getting a wife is a God's blessing. Only if you have the paripurna blessings of God, you will be blessed with a wife. Bharya Daiva Kritaha Sakha. And we know how important friendship is in today's life. Starting from Arjuna and Krishna and to our own best friends. We know the vitality and the importance and the integral role that our friend plays in our life. So saying so, we have understood that it is the friendship that keeps the Bharya and the Bharta together. We have just had a peep, just the tip of the iceberg of the two most important rituals of the Vivaha procedures. I think the other procedures will be covered in the second session along with the lives of the Divya Dampatis and Adarsha Dampatis. And let us have a quick recap of what we just saw in the last 1 hour. So we saw about the formation of the word Vivaha, how it emerges from V plus Vah Dhatu plus Ganj Pratyaya. We saw about the 8 types of Vivaham: Brahma, Deva, Prajapatya, Gandharva, Rakshasa, Asura, Paishacha, Arsha Vivaham. And then we had a look about the Dasha Purutams: Dina, Gana, Mahendra, Stri Dirgha Purutam, Yoni Purutam, Rashi, Rashi Adhipati, Vashya, Nadi, and Rajju Purutam. And how what is the most important aspect of this Purutam is something beyond this is the Mana Purutam. And the typical time when the marriages are fixed, that is during the Guru Parvai. Even if the Guru Parvai is not there, how to attract his blessings through the worship of the planet Guru, through worship of Dakshinamurti and performing the Navagraha Shanti Homams. And then we had a look about the vitality of Vivaham, how Vivaham helps us discharge our debt to all the devas, the pitras, and the rishis. And then we saw how important yajna is in the Vivaham, how how the fire is to be preserved, how it is to be nurtured and kept alive for generations to come, how it enables in the fulfillment of dharma, artha, kama, and moksha. In artha, we saw arogyam it bhaskarat ichet, shriyam ichet hutashana, ask for wealth from Lord Surya and ask for wealth from Lord Agni, and is that exactly what we are doing as the householders, and how it enables in the fulfillment of dharmic desires, the kama purushartha, and ultimately how it leads us to moksha. And afterwards, this is on a spiritual angle. As a member of the society, on a material basis, on this worldly parameters also, we saw how Vivaham plays a key role in the society, how it benefits all the members of all ages and all types, be it old people, be it children, or be it the dependents. Everybody is blessed by a single Vivaham. So Vivaham is extremely important, not only for the self, but also for the society. And then we entered into the procedures of Vivaham, basically the 5 major procedures being Vagdanam cha Pradhanam cha Varanam Panipedanam, Saptapaditi Panchango Vivaha Parikirtitaha. Vagdanam is the oral promise, Pradhanam is the Kanyadanam, the third one is the Varanam, the honoring of the bridegroom. Panipedanam is the Panigrahanam. We understood the importance and how we should actually reserve our hand only for our consort. And the Saptapadi, which is the basis of the friendship of the married couple, and how it is the conclusive ritual of a wedding. So even the Supreme Court accepts that this Saptapaditi is what is conclusive of the wedding. Saptapadi, after Saptapadi, the marriage becomes irrevocable. It is finalized and the marriage is solemnized upon the completion of the 7th step. So, and I think we have covered a lot for this 1 hour. And in the next 1 hour, that is the evening session of 5 to 6, we will cover the remaining procedural aspects and also the wonderful stories and the virtues of the Divya Dampatis. And one more thing, we will cover the Mahadashirvadam, which is prescribed in the Vedas, which is typically showered to a couple after their marriage. Thank you, and I hand over the proceedings to Sri Hariji.
Thank you so much, Bhuvaneshwari ji. It was a very power-packed capsule of the entire, Vivaham, that is the practice of Vivaham and its significance. We have received a lot of questions, so maybe if we could take just a couple of them by extending it for a few minutes, if that's okay.
Yeah, please.
All right. So one of the question is why or how to repay debt if the parents have not been good to me? This is one of the questions. So the debt to ancestors relating to that.
See, there is this Vakya which says this, Jivato Vakya Karanat Pratyabdham Bhuri Bhojanat. However our parents be, it is irrespective of them, what is our ordained responsibility is that Jivato Vakya Karanat, listen to our parents when they are alive, and after their death, we have to every year perform the Shraddha and Tarpana. So it is, you can't do away with our own responsibility. So to the extent possible, we have to discharge our responsibility. Otherwise, this Papa Punya is going to weigh heavily on us.
Right. We could also say how, when we expect other people to transact with us, we expect them to be righteous. But when we want to do something, there could be some compromises. So that's why even dharma is in the first purushartha, in a way, if we could say that.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. All right. So there aren't any more questions. Thank you so much once again, Bhuvaneshwari ji. We will meet again this evening at 5 p.m. to continue the study and reflection on this topic.
Thank you so much, Hariji. Thank you for all. Thank you all for staying there.
Yeah.
You've been a great audience. Thank you so much. Thank you. Namaskaram.
Namaskaram. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Namaste and a very warm welcome to yet another session in our Weekend with Wisdom series. Let's begin this session with an invocation. Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunattu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om. In this series, we have been discussing a very interesting, insightful topic, Vivaham, importance and procedure. We met morning for the first session where we discussed about some of the importance and the procedural aspects of Vivaham. And now in the second session, we will be delving into a little more into the procedures and then discussing about the lives of ideal couples to learn what was their attitude and their approach to Vivaham. So we have with us Bhuvaneshwari ji, who is taking us through this really, really interesting talk. So I welcome you to take over the session, Bhuvaneshwari ji. Over to you.
Thank you, Hariji. And namaskarams to all the audience present here. We will have a recapitule of what we saw in the morning session and then plunge into the newer sections. So in the morning, we had a look about what is Vivaham, the vitality of Vivaham, how Vivaha helps us in attaining the four Purusharthas, Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. In the Dharma section, we saw that we have three creditors, Deva, Pitru, and the Rishis, and we have to marry to repay the debt to the Devas and Pitrus. And then how it helps us in attaining the Artha, Bhaskaram Ichet, Arogyam Bhaskarate Ichet, Shriyam Ichet, Hutashana, and how it fulfills the Kama Purushartha, ultimately leading to Moksha. After this, we saw the importance, the procedures of the Apastamba Maharishi's Sutrams, which is applicable to Krishna Yajurveda Taitriya Shakha. We had a glimpse about the 5 major rituals, Vagdanam cha Pradhanam cha Varanam Pani Bedanam, Saptapadi iti Panchango Vivaha Parikirtitaha. And we also saw the importance of Pani Grahanam and Saptapadi. Now, actually, Vivaham is a 5-day project. We will just list out the important rituals in this 5-day project and understand that this 5-day project actually, which was done in the olden days, has now been shortened to just 2 days or 2.5 days for the reasons best known. So we will have a look at one or more of these important rituals. The first day, as discussed earlier, starts with the Vratam, Kanda Vratam and Samavartanam in the morning, Nishchidartham and Januvasam in the evening. Now, the day of marriage, it commences with the Varapreshanam. Varapreshanam, here, the bridegroom sends 2 Brahmins asking him to search for a suitable girl for him. But this activity has already been done because the Nishchidartha has been finalized in the evening itself, the previous evening itself. So this is more of a formality and an opportunity to recite the appropriate mantras. So after the Varapreshanam is done, the bridegroom is found, and now the bride is also there. Everything is fine right now. Suddenly, there is this urge in the bridegroom to take up sannyas ashrama. And how is this? Because after Samavartanam, the previous morning, this bridegroom is released from Brahmacharya ashrama. He is released from Brahmacharya ashrama, but not yet entered Grasthashrama. So he is basically hovering between the Brahmacharya ashrama and Grasthashrama, not being even either one. It's basically like Trishankuhu iva antrali tishtha. Trishanku wanted to go to the heaven with his own body, and he asked Vishwamitra to do it for him. Vishwamitra, with all his powers, sent him up. But suddenly Indra stopped him from coming towards the Swarga Loka Dwara. And then he was hanging mid-air, not in Swarga, not in Bhuloka. So the bridegroom is in such a situation. He's neither a brahmachari now nor a grahasthan. So what does he do? He decides, I am going to take up sannyas ashrama, and he starts his tour towards Kashi. So there commences Kashi Yatra. So in Kashi Yatra, typically this bridegroom, he has this umbrella with him, he has his walking stick, book, sandals, slippers, etc. and etc. For comforting him on his tour to Kashi, on his way to Kashi. He's barely 2 steps from the mandap entrance. He's confronted by the father of the girl. And those 2 steps are also decided typically by the photographers and videographers who just want the right capture of the emotions. So the father comes and says, the father of the bride says the potential saint, he says, sir, please don't take up sannyasashrama. I'm ready to offer my daughter as a bride to you. You take up grahasthashrama, leave this idea of Kashi. So you take up grahasthashrama, and in symbolizing his confirmation, he gives 2 coconuts to the groom. And the groom then hands over this coconut to his father. So this is the Kashi Yatra. This is nothing but a planned drama, because it is decided that the boy is going to get married to the girl. But at least there is another chance given to the bridegroom if he really wants to go to Kashi for his sannyasa. After the Kashi Yatra, we have the much awaited exchange of garlands, said as Malai Matadil. Here, the uncles of the bride and the bridegroom have an important role to play. Only exchanging of garlands is the Shastrokta ritual here. The other things are just for fun and frolic, and it's just a culturally imbibed ritual. So here the mamas have got a pivotal role to play. Most of the mamas, before their niece or nephew's marriage, they would be hitting the gyms, and suddenly there would be a big business flourishing for the gym owners. And if we make a close analysis of what's the major reason behind, you would say, it is on my shoulders that my nephew will be sitting on. My nephew is about 105 kilos right now, 35 plus years old, and I am quite old right now, but still I have to come and flex my muscles, right? So I am training. I'm trained in this gym now, so that it is easier for me on the day of the marriage of my nephew. In olden days, it used to be a fun and frolic activity, and it used to be easy for the mamas also, because they used to be kids, and it used to be a very asan kam for the mamas to take their nephew and niece on their shoulders. But now the mama says, at least you should go and reduce your weight. You're not doing so, let me go and improve my strength. And even the onlookers, they are not silent. They will keep cheering, higher and higher, lift higher and higher. So both the bride and the bridegroom, sitting on the shoulders of their mamas, they exchange garlands. This is one really fun activity which made marriage really an much awaited event in everybody's life. And after this exchange of garlands, we have another ritual known as the swinging, unjal. In this, the bride and the bridegroom are made to sit in a beautifully decorated swing. And then all the ladies of the household, they take the upper hand in conducting this session. This swing session is basically to ward off any evil. The ladies, they make rice balls, colored rice balls. This is known as Pachipidi Suttudal. So take the rice balls and do something like this. And in their sheer excitement of warding of evil, they throw it at great speed, even beating bowler Ashwin Ravichandra. And who knows on who said it is going to come and fall. But if it is a rice ball, it's still fine. Because in many sampradayas, it is not a rice ball, it is a coconut. So it is better people arrange for an ambulance to be in handy in case of any coconut breakings. After the swing ritual is over, now we have the Kanyaka Danam. During this Kanyaka Danam, the father takes the hand of his daughter, places it on the hand of the bridegroom, pours the water, and he utters the three pravaras, that is the three ancestors of the bride, blesses the bride with good progeny and good married life. And so thus concludes the Kanyaka Danam. That is the second ritual. So Varapreshanam starts with Varapreshanam, and then we have Kashi Yatra, then exchange of garlands, then the swing ritual, and then we have Kanyaka Danam. After this, we have Agni Pratishthapanam, following which we have Madhuparka and then Samikshanam. What is Samikshanam? Samikshanam is looking at the bride and the bridegroom. The bridegroom is asked to look. So he need not steal chances or steal a few seconds to look at his bride. He's like, look very nicely at her. You have full freedom. Keep looking at her. Huh? So the bridegroom looks at his bride and the bride keeps looking at her bridegroom. After Samikshanam, we have Yugachidra Sthapanam, following which we have Abhishekaha. Customarily, in Abhishekaha, the bridegroom has to pour water on the bride. But today it is only performed very simply as just sprinkling water on the bride. And after this, the bridegroom gives new clothes to his to-be bride. That is Vastra Dharana. After receiving the new clothes, the new sari from the Var, she retires into her apartments to drape the new sari. And afterwards, we have the much awaited Mangalya Dharanam. This Mangalya Dharanam, during this Mangalya Dharanam, the shloka which is uttered is Mangalyam Tantuna Nena Mama Jivana Hetuna Kanthe Badhnami Shubhage Tvam Jiva Sharada Shatam. It is not actually a mantra, it is only a shloka. It is not actually, it is not the conclusive ritual of the wedding. It doesn't solemnize the completion of wedding. What solemnizes the completion of that says Vivaha is complete. But still, this is an indispensable part of every Vivaham. So thus Mangalya Dharanam take place. What is the meaning of this Mangalya Dharana shloka? With this auspicious thread, I tie around your neck. I will tie this auspicious thread around your neck so that we both may live together happily and see 100 autumn seasons. Meaning, let us both live together happily for 100 years. So there ends Mangalya Dharana. After which we have Yoktra Sannahanam. Here the bridegroom takes the darba and ties it around the waist of the bridegroom, waist of the bride as a girdle. We have then Mukhantam, and then comes the important Panigrahanam. So Panigrahanam, we saw how crucial Panigrahanam is. Most of the times in all the Vivahams, the priest would say, you can come and take photo with the Var and Vadhu, but do not give them handshake. Do not congratulate them by giving your hand. Just give congratulations orally. That's it. No handshaking. Because the Panigrahana is in continuation. It cannot be, you cannot come and disturb it. So the hand of the bridegroom is in the hand of the bride, and vice versa. They cannot leave away their hands for anyone else's purpose. So after the Panigrahanam, we have the Saptapadi, which completes the marriage. There is a beautiful shloka which says, Nodakena navachava kanyayaha patirishyate Panigrahana samskarat patitvam saptame pade. It is not by the oral promise that happens in Nishchidartha. It is not by that marriage is complete. It is not by the Kanyadanam also that the marriage is complete. It is only after the Panigrahanam and after the completion of the 7th step is the marriage completed. So Saptapadi is the conclusive ritual of a marriage, and this is well proved and understood. And after that we have Vivaha Homaha. Next, we have Ashma Ropanam. What is this Ashma Ropanam? Treading on the millstone. Having walked 7 steps, the Var and the Vadhu climb onto the stone called Ammi in Tamil, the millstone, and the Var, he inserts this toe ring into the second toe of his bride. So this is Ashma Ropanam. After this, we have Laja Homam. In this Laja Homam, the bride offers the puffed rice as ahuti into the sacrificial fire with her husband for the longevity of both of them and the fruitful married life. This Laja Homa, this Laja, that is this puffed rice, has got a lot of significance, as we can see in Ganapati Atharva Shirshaha. Yo lajehi yajati sa vidyaman bhavati. Whoever offers this puffed rice as ahuti for Ganesha, he becomes a very big vidwan. He becomes a very learned scholared person. After this, we have the parikramanam, that is circumambulating the sacred fire. Jayadi homam and yoktra vimochanam. Following this, we have the Pathiprayana mantras. That is, the marriage would have taken place in a Kalyana Mandapam. From the Kalyana Mandapam to the house of the bridegroom, there has to be mantras uttered all along the way. So, as usual, as it happens, there is only gossips and rumors being talked about all along the way. But there are mantras to be chanted the way from the mandapa to the house of the bridegroom. After entering the house, there we have the Pravesha Homaha. And after doing the Pravesha Homaha, there is Charma Ropanam. What is Charma Ropanam? Cooking in that Homa Agni is called Charma Ropanam. And then in the evening, we have Dhruva Darshanam. Dhruva Darshanam is the seeing of the star known as Dhruva. Along with Dhruva Darshanam, there is Arundhati and Vasishta Darshanam too. Because Arundhati and Vasishta lived as the ideal couple. The newly married couples are shown these stars for treading and following their steps. Following that, we have Agneya Sthali Pakam and then Upasana Arambha, Gandharva Raja Puja, Gandharva Raja Utthapanam, and then Shesha Homaha. So we know what is Agneya Sthali Pakam, and we have also seen about Aupasanam. So Aupasanam is the 5-minute ritual in the morning and evening one has to do after marriage. And one important thing in this Aupasanam is that the husband asks, "Can I give this ahuti?" He asks his wife, and the wife, only if she wishes, she will say Juhudhi. So she has to give her consent to whatever the husband asks. So both of them will have to work in complete consensus only, and the husband cannot be in one direction and the wife go in another direction. And it doesn't end with the Vivaha Upasana. It will continue forever in all the decisions and actions both of them take. After the Upasana, we have Gandharva Raja Puja, Gandharva Raja Utthapanam, and Shesha Homam. Any balance Homa is left, that is known as Shesha Homam. So with this, we are completing the rituals that spread across 5 days. There are a lot of nuances here and there, a number of small actions to be performed. So that is why it takes 5 days to complete a Vivaham. Having seen the procedures, we will also have a look about the post-marriage responsibilities that have been ordained for this couple. We saw that the couple has to perform Upasana. Yes, Upasana is there. And after the performance of Upasana, apart from Upasana, we have to perform that the householder along with his wife has to perform the Pancha Mahayajnas. What are these Pancha Mahayajnas? Deva Yajna, Pitri Yajna, Rishi Yajna, Manushya Yajna, and Bhuta Yajna. We have seen about Deva Yajna and Pitri Yajna. What is Deva Yajna? Performing Yajnas and saying swaha and giving the ahuti to that particular devata is known as Deva Yajna. Pitri Yajna is doing Shraddha and Tarpana. We have seen about that. Even if it has become difficult in today's world to do all these yajnas, all of the humanity can at least utter this shloka. Devatabhyaha pitrubhyascha mahayogibhya eva cha namaswadhayai swahayai nityameva namo namaha. They can definitely utter this shloka every day. It is a mandate. They have to do this so that we offer our salutations to the devas and our pitrus. It is very easy also to do the yajna. It may not be an elaborate one. You just have to say the name of the deva and say swaha and offer at least one darba. Done, deva yajna is done. And for pitri yajna, tell swadha and give water. That's it. Pitri yajna is also performed. So there are ways where we can smartly handle things even if we are not in a position to do it. So after Deva Yajna and Pitri Yajna, we have Rishi Yajna. So the Rishi Yajna is basically the Brahma Yajna, which has to be performed to discharge the debt that we owe to the Rishis. So what is the debt? This is an intellectual debt. So it has to be removed intellectually. So we have to take troubles in doing Veda Dhyana. Rechant the mantras that have already been learnt during the Veda Dhyana Kala and again teach it to the next generation. This is the Brahma Yajna that has to be performed. What is Bhuta Yajna? Bhuta Yajna is what we do on a daily basis. There is no household in the Bharat Bhumi that misses on this Bhuta Yajna. That is serving the crows first before we take our first serving. So the cooked rice is first given to the crows to feed on, and after the baki, the shesha annam is only served for the family members, and this is called Bhuta Yajna, which has to be done. Next, we have the Manushya Yajna. Manushya Yajna is nothing but what since eons have been told to us. Atithyam, Atithi Satkaram is Manushya Yajna. So Atithi Satkaram involves three basic aspects. One is offering water and food for the person, for the Atithi, and giving him space, giving him good accommodation to rest, and pleasing that person with good, kind words. So these are the three aspects of hospitality. And it was an indispensable part in the day-to-day routine of many couples. So they used to wait at the veranda of their household, see if any person would accept their hospitality, and wait for them and ask them, invite them with good pleasing words, offer them what all they had, and then they had their food. So this was the much enviable routine of our forefathers. We have no doubt on this because the Vedas say Atithi Devo Bhava. After Acharya Devo Bhava, it is Atithi Devo Bhava. So we are able to understand the importance and the weightage that has been given to good hospitality, Atithi Satkaram. After the Pancha Maha Yajnas. So basically these are the duties. So do Upasana, do the Pancha Maha Yajnas. Apart from this Juhudi aspect that the woman gets to wield her rights, during which we have another mantra that says Murdhanam Pratyuraroha. The bridegroom says to the girl, come, sit on my head. So it is not in a literal sense and not in a sarcastic sense also. Murdha means head. So if the girl has to come and sit on his head, that means that she takes control of his thinking. She takes the control of the buddhi and she becomes the shakti of his buddhi. And that is what he asks her to do. You guide me into the correct path. So there are beautiful many places where the women have to play a major role in their vivaham. It's not that just follow the husband. No, follow. Husband is asking you to guide him, na, then we have to do those. It is our right and our privilege also. Next we have, I think we can do one beautiful mangalam for the procedure of vivaham. Now we can delve into the stories of the great and ideal couples. Let us start with Nala Damayanti. Nala Damayanti is they are an amazing and enviable couple, but they constantly faced problems even before their marriage. So Nala was in the way to the Swayamvara of Damayanti, but the gods also wanted to marry Damayanti. So what did the gods do? They stopped Nala and said, we will give you special powers to get into the Antavpura of Damayanti. But after getting there, you have to say and convince Damayanti to marry any one of the gods. But Damayanti is now already in love with Nala. Anyways, he agrees. So he With those powers, with those special powers, he enters the quarters of Damayanti amidst tight security. And the moment Damayanti sees Nala, she's awestruck by his unmatched brilliance. And she says, Aho Rupam, Aho Kanti, Aho Dhairya Mahatmanaha, Koyam Devonu, Yakshonu, Gandharvonu Bhavishyati. My goodness, what great brilliance, what a tejas, what a bravery, man. Who are you, hey great Mahatman? Who are you? Are you a Deva? Are you a Yaksha? Are you a Gandharva? She doesn't even ask him if you are a human being. She thinks that how can ever a human being possess such great tejas? But yeah, Nala is full of exuberance and resplendence. And then Nala introduces himself and also says the purpose of his visit. See, I'm Nala, but then I have come here as an agent of the gods. So they have asked you to marry any one of them. She says, okay, fine. So you have done your job. I will take care of whatever is to be done ahead. Afterwards, Nala leaves, and then comes the Swayamvara of Damayanti. Now, the gods have played an elaborate ruse to trick Damayanti into marrying any one of them. All of them took the form of Nala because they know that Damayanti is in love with Nala. Now, how will Damayanti identify Nala amongst so many dupe Nalas? So there are differentiating factors between the Devas and humans. Number one, the Devas do not blink their eyes. The humans blink their eyes. The Devas' feet do not touch the ground, but our humans' feet are firmly placed on the ground. Third, the Devas don't have shadows. Humans have shadows. So with using her intelligence and all these differentiating factors, she was easily able to spot out the original Nala and garlanded him. Now, it really led to the anger of all the other devas, and Shani wanted to avenge his insult and waited for the ripe moment to catch Nala. So once what happened, Nala lost the game of dice, just like how Yudhishthira lost the game of dice and lost his kingdom. He retired into the forest, and then Nala and Damayanti got separated. He was bitten by this venomous snake, Karkotaka. He lost all his brilliance and tejas. He became completely black from head to toe. And then he worked as a cook in the kingdom of Raja Rituparna. Actually, Nala is a in today's marriage market jargons is a perfect marriage material guy. This guy surpasses everybody in handsomeness. He's a huge handsome hunk. He's the greatest charioteer. He drives the chariot at lightning speed. There is no one parallel who can parallel him in driving the chariot. And also, he's an amazing cook. What else does anybody need? I think here, if I continue about Nala, the husbands might be at danger. So let us just continue with the story and not with praises of Nala. So Nala, being a great cook, he enchants the king and he wins the hearts of everybody. Like to win the heart of someone, you have to go through their stomach. And so he's very good at that also. So Nala is working as a cook in the kingdom of Raja Rituparna. Now Damayanti wants to find the whereabouts of Nala. So what does she do? She asks her father to arrange for a second Swayamvara. And the date of this Swayamvara is so fixed that only an expert charioteer like Nala can reach the place of Damayanti's father's kingdom in such a short period. So now Rituparna also wants to participate. Who else will he ask? He will ask Nala. So Nala also offers, see, I am a very good charioteer. I can take you at lightning speed. एक चुटकी में मैं आपको वहां पहुंचा सकता हूँ. He says that. And then Rituparna, with the help of Nala, he reaches Damayanti Swayamvara only to find out that it was a way to find out where Nala's whereabouts were. Then Damayanti and Nala there reunite. Rituparna is compensated with good gifts. And now here, Rituparna teaches Nala the art of Akshahridayam, the art of dice game. And Nala in turn teaches him the Ashwaridayam, the art of driving the chariot. So now having learned the game of dice very well, he goes back and plays the game of dice, wins back his kingdom and returns back to all his glory. Both Damayanti and Nala have suffered inexplainable sorrow and grief. So Shani appears in front of them and says, "You both have done a fabulous job. You have braved all odds and obstacles. I wish to grant a boon to you. You ask for it." And Nala says, "Whoever recalls our story, may they never be troubled by you." So there goes the shloka. Karko takasyana agasya damayantya nalasya cha rituparnasya rajarshehe kirtanam kalinashanam. This kirtan of the story of Rituparna, the king, the sage, the Damayanti and Nala and the snake Karkotaka will dispel all our sorrow. Now here there is an important and key role played by a swan. Before even the Swayambara of Damayanti is conducted, Nala is the king of the kingdom Nishadha. There he happens to catch a swan from his garden. The swan pleads freedom, "Please let me go." And also Nala releases. But it was not his obligation. Nala could have had the swan, but out of sheer compassion, he released the swan. And then the swan says, "For this favor, I will go as a mediator to Damayanti and sing all praises of you." And so does the swan do accordingly. The swan goes to the apartments of Damayanti and sings in full glory all the praises in length and breadth and full volumes of Nala's handsomeness, Nala's beautiful skills, very handy and practical skills, all his virtues and his gunas. And Damayanti goes head over heels for him just by listening about Nala, just like Rukmini. Now, in turn, Damayanti also sends her agent to Nala, who goes and conveys the invitation to Damayanti's Swayambara. Before all this happens, before even the story of Nala and Damayanti commence, we should understand that the swan is not just a swan. He's a rishi actually incarnated to reunite these both. So Nala and Damayanti were actually husband and wife in their previous birth. Both were hunter and huntress. They once happened to accommodate a rishi for whose protection that hunter had to give up his own life. Now the rishi felt guilty in some way or the other that I am responsible for the death of this sinless hunter. So I have to do something for them. What he does, he says, "Okay, I will take a rebirth. I will be born as a swan and reunite these two." So the underlying theme in the story of Nala and Damayanti is that the marital bond isn't just for a birth, it is spanning over Janmas. So after recalling the story of Nala and Damayanti, let us be rest assured that Shani will never come near us. Let us say good bye bye to Shani. Next, we have the story of Harishchandra and his wife. All of us are well aware of the karma nishtata, the satyavrata, and satyanishtata of Harishchandra and his wife. Harishchandra once owed a huge debt to Vishwamitra, to repay which he had to give up his own kingdom, to the extent that he sold his son, he sold his wife, and at the end, he sold his own self. Now, he sold his own self to whom? To a manager of a cremation ground. So, he was asked to work as an executor. Now, there came a time when his wife was awarded a death punishment for no fault of hers and was to be executed at the hands of her own husband, Harishchandra. Now, Harishchandra is in a great dilemma. Any man's Satyavrata and Satyanishtata would now, in this poignant moment, would take a backseat. But no, not for Harishchandra. He went ahead, took the sword, and beheaded his own wife, only to see the sword turn as a beautiful garland around her neck. Seeing the devotion that the wife had for the husband, so the wife didn't leave Harishchandra. So today, if our partners lack something that we once cherished in them, we find that no, he doesn't charm me anymore, and then we just see our own ways and part ways. But here, both of them are supporting each other. wife supports Harishchandra and Harishchandra supports his wife. And Harishchandra was able to do all these things only with the sheer encouragement of his wife. Had the wife said, "No, I'm leaving you," then he wouldn't have been able to repay that debt. Forever, he would have been a debtor. Seeing the Satyavrata and Satyanishtata of both these people, all the gods bless them, and Vishwamitra even bestows upon him 50% of his spiritual powers. Now, there is what is the phala of being very truthful? Satya pratisthayam kriya phalashrayatvam. The fruit of being very truthful is that even without doing the karma phala can be reaped. So, here the Harishchandra was just remaining truthful. He did not do the yajnas or whatever has to be done to attain the spiritual powers that Vishwamitra attained. But didn't he get 50% of those? And yes, so we have to be extremely truthful to whatever we have taken up, to whatever our responsibilities are, and thus teaches. Thus is the moral of the story, Harishchandra and his wife. Another story that we will have a look at is Jayadeva and his wife Padmavati. Jayadeva is the saint poet and the author of the Ashtapadis of Radha and Krishna, which extols their divine sports. So now, in a discussion, it once happened so that Padmavati was in discussion, his wife Padmavati was in discussion with the queen of that kingdom. She said that any chaste wife, when she hears the death of her husband, will give up her life. Now, the queen wanted to test this. So, what did she do? She orchestrated and staged a fake news about the death of her husband, Jayadeva. The moment she heard the death of her husband, she immediately gave up her life. And seeing Padmavati lying lifeless for no reason, Jayadeva used all his spiritual powers and brought her back to life. And there, go, you have Padmavati back in all flesh and spirit again. So these were the spiritual powers both had, not just what Jayadeva possessed, but also the power of Padmavati to give up her life at her will. So this was the power of Bhishmacharya. He could give up his life whenever he wanted. And at the end of the Kurukshetra war, he waited for Ratha Saptami to give up his life. So even here, the Pativrata Naris have the power to decide when to die. Their life, their prana is in their own control. Another short story we will have is about Lopamudra and Agastya. Agastya is one of the Saptarishis. Lopamudra, she served Agastya with all her heart, even though Agastya was once affected with leprosy. So the sankalpa of being together at all times was beautifully illustrated and lived and showed by Lopamudra and Agastya. Next is yet another interesting story is of Sukanya and Chavana Maharishi. So Sukanya is a young, bright, curious girl, and she's very happy in her adventures and plays and etc. Chavanya is an old Maharishi doing tapas. What happens so is that he is so engrossed in his tapas that there is an anthill built over him, but only his eyes are sparkling through the anthill. So Sukanya becomes very curious. What is this something twinkling here, and that too it is double in number. So she pokes at that bright pole, and it so happens that it is the both eyes of Chavana Maharishi. Now Chavana Maharishi is blinded. What will he do? So Sukanya, to make good for her fault, she offers herself as a bride to Chavana, even though the age gap is enormous. But she continues to serve him with full heart. And for her virtue and for her devotion, Chavana is now transformed into a very handsome young person, and both of them live a very fruitful, happy married life. And so is the story of Sukanya and Chavana Maharishi. All of us are also aware of the story of Savitri and Satyavan. We also had a quick gist about it in the morning. Savitri, she once sees a man in the forest and decides that that person is going to be my husband. But then later on, she's warned by Narada, see, you have chosen fine, but that man is going to die in a year's time. Is that fine for you? She said, I will not change my mind. Once decided is decided. He is my husband, Forever shall he be my husband. And she goes on to marry him. And for the next 1 year, she performs severe austerities and observes all the Pativrata dharma rituals. But on the fateful day, Yama comes and takes away the life of Satyavan. But Savitri is no ordinary woman. So Yama comes as, so she is able to view Yama. Usually Yama Dutas come to take our lives away. But for Satyavan, Yama himself arrived. And this Yama was also visible to Savitri. So she followed Yama wherever he went. Now Yama just wanted to get rid of Savitri. He keeps telling her, no, this is not the place for you. You go back, you go back. But she doesn't listen. She simply follows Yama. And then she says that, see, we have walked all these steps. We have been companion in this whole journey. So I am your friend right now. You can't just chase me away. You can't drive me away. Then Yama says, okay, fine. I will give you 3 boons. She asks for the 3 boons, and the third boon being progeny for herself. In a hurry, Yama say, chalo, take it. Fine. Now just leave me. But then it then realizes to Yama, oh my God, how is she going to have progeny if I take Satyavan with myself? So Yama is now compelled to return back Satyavan's life to Savitri. And that's how Savitri won back the life of her husband from Yama. Here, the life of Satyavan and Savitri depicts the firmness in one's decision. So Savitri, though she knew the fateful day of her husband, she didn't withdraw back on her decision. She didn't decide that, okay, let go of him, I will marry someone else with a long life. No, once decided is decided, however be it, I will brave all challenges. And she did do that. Now, after the stories, we will now have another beautiful story of the Shakti of Pativrata Dharma. So this is from Mahabharata. Like Bhagavad Gita and Uddhava Gita, we have Vyadha Gita. So there is this young brahmachari who does severe tapas. So he gains a lot of spiritual power and prowess. Once it so happened that a crane came and it pooped on him. Out of sheer anger, he just stared at the crane and it was burned to ashes. He was quite happy, pleasantly happy. Said, oh, fine, I've got powers, it's working good. And as is the duty prescribed to a brahmachari, he goes door to door asking for alms. So at one door, he knocks. He asks, Bhavati Bhiksham Dehi. Many people might get confused here, like thinking Bhavati to be the verb form of the verb dhatu, bhu, but it is actually the Sambodhana Prathama. Hey is silent here. Hey Bhavati Bhiksham Dehi. Oh lady, please give me alms. So it is the Sambodhana Prathama that's hidden here. So he asks for alms, but then he knows nothing called patience. This lady inside the house was serving her husband some dal and chutney, etc., whatever he liked. So she says, okay, just wait for some time. I will finish my chores and come back. But then this guy, he's very impatient and he keeps asking for alms. After finishing her work, after some time, she goes with alms to that beggar. That is the brahmachari. But now he stares and glares at her, gives her a death stare. Smilingly, she says, "Kokkendru ninaittayo ennai? Did you think me to be a crane? Don't mistake me for that." Huh? Suddenly, he's flabbergasted. My goodness, how does she know what happened somewhere else? That's something that happened somewhere with somebody. How did she know that I was the one who burnt the crane to ashes? But then, yeah, he understands that this is the Shakti that a Pativrata Nari gets when she follows and observes the Pativrata Dharma. And she also guides this person. She says, nearby, there is this Vyadhan who lives. Who is this Vyadhan? A butcher who lives nearby. Whatever knowledge that you want to receive, you are awaiting for, you better go to him and learn. And so does this brahmachari, embarks on his journey to go and meet that butcher. And his conversation is with the butcher is, it will unfold into another long story. So there might be a question now. So, okay, it is said for women that, yeah, you have to be a pativrata nari, this, that, all that's fine. So are the men let scot free? Is nothing there for men? It's not like that. The men have to be obedient and they have to take commands. They have to report to their gurus. So there is a hierarchy. There are checks and balances. Very well, there are variations in every relationship, and everybody is also given that freedom to carve and work in their own niche. So wherever there is the independence for the patni, she will be on her own, and where she has to take suggestions and advice or even orders from her husband, she's going to take. And so does it apply for the husband. So where he can function on his own, he will do it, and again he will have to report to his guru. So at all levels we have vigilance. So we need not worry that, oh, it is only the woman who is bound always, this, that, and they are just led without anything. No, they have also, the men, they are bound in a very rigid regiment. It's very, we will find that, oh my God, this is too difficult, but still they do it. Veda dhyana is not an easy task. Full day, 24, just 14 hours a day for all 15 years, they have to sit and do the Veda dhyana sincerely, and they cannot afford to forget even one mantra. None of us will remember whatever we learned at fourth standard or fifth standard, any question answer that we would have by hearted. But it is necessary for all these vatus to remember, for all these Veda dhyais to remember, for all the people who have done this Veda dhyana to remember every single mantra. So everybody has got their share of duties. Everybody has got their share of challenges. So we should not be sitting and comparing these things. Simply follow what has been given, like how Ramakrishna Paramahamsa once gave a beautiful example. He said that there is this flourishing fruit bearing mango tree. A very intelligent person, what he will do, he will come and start counting the number of leaves in that mango tree, because he will do his analysis. He is such an intelligent guy. But then a layman, what does he do? He will come and he'll see the juicy, amazing, beautiful mango, and he would love to have it. And straight, in a single shot, he goes for that mango. But then this intelligent man, he wastes his time and also his energy in simply counting of the leaves. So we don't have to do that analysis. The rishis have already done that analysis, derived formulas, and it has stood the test of time. And we have testimonies given by our gurus and acharyas. So in today, if we simply follow what has been given to us by our parents, so what our parents have received, they have received from our grandparents. We are receiving from it. We are receiving the same thing from our parents. And even if we want to question it, we ask many times. There is this question called why this and why that. This question has to be asked with the intention of knowing the answer, and not with the intention of disrespecting it or throwing muck at the parampara of our forefathers. We want the ancestral property, we want the jewels of our grandmother, all that we want, but then we will want that also. And at the same time, if we disrespect our forefathers, we are living by double standards, and living in a double standard life is cheating our own self. So it is not the right way of living. So let us try understanding small things initially, and then we have to do our swadhyayanam. So do your self study, and it will unfold many revelations unto us. So I think let us conclude by looking at the Mahad Ashirvadam that the Dampatis will receive. Tomorrow is a beautiful Muhurta day. Many couples will be, many to be bride and bridegrooms will be getting married. We wish them an amazing married life ahead and an advance Mahad Ashirvadam. Mahadashirvadam starts with Swasti mantrarthaha satyasa phalasantvidhi bhavantaha mahantaha anugranhantu. So this is the blessing that states that let all the mantras that have blessed this couple fructify right now. Anayor dampatyoho vedoktam dirghamayushyam bhuyat iti bhavantaha mahantaha anugranhantu. Let this couple be blessed with long life that has been ordained in the Vedas. What is this long life that has been ordained in the Vedas? Shatam jivema, live for 100 years. Iti bhavantaha mahantaha anugranantu. So will the elders and the great people bless the couples. We have Tallagna apekshaya adityadinam navanam grahanam anukulyam bhuyat iti bhavantaha mahantaha anugranhantu. In this Vivaha Muhurtaha, let all the Adityas, let all the 9 planets be favorable to this couple. ये ये ग्रहाः शुभेतरस्थानेषु स्थिताः तेषां ग्रहाणां शुभस्थानफलवाप्तिरस्त्विति भवन्तः महान्तः अनुगृह्णन्तु. If in any case the planets are not in favorable positions, are not in Shubhasthanas, let them provide those results that they will provide if they were in Shubhasthanas. ये ग्रहाः शुभस्थानेषु स्थिताः तेषां ग्रहाणाम् अतिशयेन शुभफलप्रदातृत्वं भूयात् इति भवन्तः महान्तः अनुगृह्णन्तु. So for all those planets that are already in good position, in their favorable positions, let them provide benefits in multifold times. अनयोर दंपत्योः आयुर्बलं यशो वर्चः पशवः सिद्धिर्लक्ष्मीः क्षमा कान्तिः सद्गुणो आनंदो नित्यश्रीः नित्यमंगलम् इति एतेषां सदा अभिवृद्धिर्भूयात् इति भवन्तः महान्तः अनुगृह्णन्तु. तथास्तु. Let this couple be blessed with ayu, longevity, balam, strength, vigor, stamina, yasho, varchaha, all fame and prosperity, pashavaha, cows. So like we previously saw, the cows, sheep and goats were the yardstick to measure one's richness. So they should be very rich. Siddhir Lakshmi, let them be blessed with Lakshmi. Kshama, let them be blessed with forbearance, tolerance. Sadguno, Anando, let them have really great virtues. Nitya Shrihi, Nitya Mangalam, let there be eternal prosperity. Let the showers of Ma Lakshmi always be there. Nitya Mangalam, let there be eternal auspiciousness in the lives of these Dampati. And not just that, iti etesham sada abhivriddhir bhuyat. It means that all these blessings should constantly keep multiplying and growing. So it means that they're already existent and it is the growth that is blessed here. Next we have Imau Dampati, Dhanavantau, Dhanyavantau, Putravantau, Mitravantau, Hrimantau, Dhimantau, Ojasvinau, Manasvinau, Yashasvinau, Tapasvinau, Tarasvinau, Shantimantau, Dantimantau, Kantimantau, Shantimantau, Shaktimantau, Bhaktimantau, Buddhimantau, Vridhimantau, Ayushmantau, Arogyavantau, Satyavantau, Hridya Bhavanau, Bahudhanyau, Manujamanyau cha, iti iti Bhavantaha Mahantaha Anugranhantu. Let this couple be blessed with Dhanavanto, Dhanyavanto. Let them have all the riches. Let them be having abundance of food. Let them have a lot of children. Let them be blessed with innumerable friends and family and relatives. Let them have great fame. Let them do tapas. What is for what we are doing this Vivaham? Yajno danam tapaschaiva pavanani manishinam. Yajna, dana, and tapa purifies a man. How come one do yajna? It is only by Vivaha. So we have to purify ourselves by doing Vivaha. For tapas, we need to do Vivaha. Let them be blessed with truthfulness, Shakti, Satyavantav, Bhaktimantav. Let them be devoted. Let them have great health, hale and healthy life. Let them live long. Let them have a beautiful residence, Hridya Bhavanav, Manujamanyav cha Bhuyastam. Let all these be instantly showered on them. Iti bhavantaha mahantaha anugranhantu. So the elders and the great people bless them this way. These are the blessings that every couple will get in their marriage. And now we will also have a look at the Divya Dampatis whose virtues the couple have to cultivate in their marital life. Imau Dampati Bharati Brahmano Iva Dirghayushau. This Dampati has to be like Saraswati and Brahma who live for a long life. Lakshmi Narayana Iva Niroga Sharirao. Like Mahavishnu and Mahalakshmi, they should live a ill-free life. Uma Maheshwarau iva nitya samachetau. Like Parvati and Parameshwara, they should always have consensus in mind, word, and action. Shachi Purandarau iva samastaishwarya sampannam. Like Indra and his consort Indrani, they should be blessed with all the riches of all these worlds. Rati Kandarpau iva Punkhanupunkha Prema Baddhau. Like Rati and Manmatha, so should their love between them be. Anusuyatri iva Sarvaloka Sammanya Sadapatyau. Like Anusuya and Atri, they should be worthy of respect of all the four worlds. Anusuya deserves a special mention here because with her power of her Pativrata Dharmam, she turned Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva into crying babies and nursed them. Draupadi Yudhishthirau iva Shishtesh Jana Samvritau. Like Draupadi and Yudhishthira, they be blessed with very good, obedient, and truthful progeny. Lopamudra Kumbhasambhavau iva. Like Lopamudra and Agastya Maharishi, let them have Shantau, Dantau, Kantau, Bahumitrau, Bahuputrau, Sadhumitrau, Sacharitrau, Jita Janyau, Gata Dainyau, Siddhakalpau, Chitakalpau cha Bhuyastham iti bhavantaha mahantaha anugranhantu. Let all the virtues that the couple Lopamudra and Agastya possessed, let those virtues and blessings be blessed and showered on this couple. So, saying so, I will conclude by remembering, by again saluting the Jagan Mata Pita, Parvati and Parameshwara. Vagarthaviva sampraktau, Vagartha pratipattaye, Jagatah pitaro vande, Parvati Parameshwarau. Thank you, Indika Moksha. Thank you, Hariji, for hosting this wonderful session. It was my greatest pleasure to talk on Vivaham. It has given us an opportunity to speak about the great and noble souls and also hear about them in this beautiful Sandhya Vandana Vele. So Sandhya Vele is a time that nobody should ever miss. It is the absolute time that will reap benefits in multifold quantity. So remembering these Deiva couples at this time is a great blessing to all of us, and I pray for the betterment and welfare of all beings. And thank you. Namaste. Namaskaram.
Dhanyavad. Thank you so much, Bhuvaneshwari ji. And I think it would be really essential to have a follow-up talk series for this particular topic, because there is so much more that you have touched upon, but so much more to explore, a lot of potential aspects that can be explored. So we shall definitely see what are the possibilities of having another talk with you. And on behalf of Indika Moksha, I would like to extend our gratitude and our sincere thanks for agreeing to do this series for us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Very fortunate. Thank you.
Yeah. Let's conclude the session with a Shanti Mantra. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om. Dear viewers, I request all of you to follow us on social media in the under the handle Advaita Academy or Indika Moksha. Advaita Academy in Facebook and YouTube, and Indika Moksha in Twitter. Please follow us on these channels to be updated about the upcoming talks on Advaita Vedanta and also on other topics in Sanatana Dharma. Thank you so much. Meet you all in the next series. Dhanyavad. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha.